It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as there are further hints that Kevin Owens is AEW bound, Jim Ross provides an update on his battle with skin cancer, and Jon Moxley is set to enter rehab to battle alcohol addiction. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first... Tonight, AEW hosts the next episode of Dynamite live from Independence, Missouri at Kansas City Arena. So far, 3 matches have been announced for the show, one of which will no longer be happening. Firstly, Orange Cassidy was set to take on Jon Moxley in the semi-final of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament, although the latter has now been removed from the show, with the reason being detailed later on in the video. We can likely expect an update on the status of Orange Cassidy in the tournament, with him perhaps receiving a new opponent or getting a bye through to the final against Bryan Danielson. Cody Rhodes will battle Andrade El Idolo as Rhodes continues to fight against the increasing boos from the AEW crowd. Cody will be looking to pick up his second singles win in a row after finally defeating Andrade's ally Malachi Black just 2 weeks ago. And finally, the AEW TBS Championship tournament continues as Anna Jay takes on Jamie Hayter in the last first round match, with the winner facing Thunder Rosa in the quarterfinals of the bracket. Next up, it's been reported that All Elite Wrestling are planning on hosting a SUPERCARD special next year on TNT, which will see a pay-per-view level event be available for free. Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast has noted that the event will be held in January, revealing that the show will be similar to the Clash of Champions format used in Jim Crockett Promotions and then WCW. Zarian would take to Twitter to reveal, AEW is planning a TNT special on January 8th. They're obviously not able to use the name Clash of Champions due to WWE owning the rights. However, I'm hearing the possible name for this show will be Battle of the Belts, a throwback to NWA/CFW. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer has also commented on the news, adding that the event is expected to be 1 hour long, noting that the original plan was for the specials to be longer. TV specials were announced by AEW when the move of AEW Dynamite from TNT to TBS was revealed, with TNT said to be working closely with Tony Khan on the cards. Next up, we have some news on some potential Impact Wrestling departures, as 5 names have been removed from their official website roster page. This week, Impact removed No Way, the former No Way Jose, Taylor Wilde, TJP, Tommy Dreamer, and Petey Williams from the site, which suggests that they are no longer with the company, perhaps having been released from their contracts. Whilst it's unclear why No Way, Taylor Wilde, and TJP are gone, we have some potential reasons on why Dreamer and Williams have been removed. Firstly, Petey Williams has been working with WWE as a producer on a tryout basis, with this suggesting he may now have been offered a permanent deal. As for Tommy Dreamer, he is coming off the back of a controversy following the release of a Dark Side of the Ring episode chronicling the infamous plane ride from hell, a story we've covered in the past and won't be detailing again. There is no word on this being the reason for his removal, although he was suspended after the incident. GCW owner Brett Lauderdale appeared in an interview this week with Wrestling Inc. Daily Podcast and was asked about the potential signing of the former Bray Wyatt. Now known as Windham, he was released from WWE in July and is a free agent following the recent expiration of his non-compete clause. That said, according to Brett, Windham would have no interest in working on the independent wrestling scene and revealed, I have never talked to Bray Wyatt, but my understanding is that I don't know that our world is very appealing to Bray Wyatt. There's no secret message there. I think that he's not interested in making the rounds on the indies. That's my understanding. I don't mean any negative implications that he said anything because I've never spoken to him. From people I know that he knows and whatever, it just doesn't seem like it's something that's on his to-do list anytime soon. Wyatt, who seems to have his eye on Hollywood, has not signed for a wrestling company as of this writing, with him perhaps moving away from wrestling, or more likely waiting for an offer from a larger company like AEW or New Japan. Whilst we hope Windham has a future in the wrestling business, it seems we won't be seeing him on the independent circuit in the near future. And quickly, just before we continue, make sure you drop a like on the video as it helps me out a lot, and make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss any upcoming wrestling content as we head, hopefully, towards 100,000 subscribers. But now, let's press play on the video. This past Monday on Raw, Kevin Owens would make reference to his expiring WWE contract during a segment involving himself, Seth Rollins, and WWE Champion Big E. Owens would interrupt the two men to set up a match with Big E later on in the night, and during the promo, Owens would state that he will give his all in the ring, whether it be for 3 more months or 3 more years. This is seemingly a hint towards his expiring contract, which is said to expire at the end of January 2022. Big E would then also seem to reference Owens' departure and potential link-up with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole in AEW when he said that there can only be one face of Monday Night Raw. This isn't Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore is the stable name used by the Bucks, Cole, and the former Kevin Steen during their time in PWG, with Owens and the Bucks hinting at a reunion in recent months. The Young Bucks would then respond to the segment on Twitter by placing another hint on their Twitter page, changing their bio to MROW, the initials of Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Whilst Kevin's long-term future is still unknown, it seems that even WWE are getting in on the fun by scripting the reference in the Big E promo, and it's unlikely that this line was off the cuff. Either way, do you think Owens will remain in WWE for 3 months or 3 years? Let me know in the comments down below. Late last month, legendary wrestling announcer and the current voice of All Elite Wrestling, Jim Ross, revealed on Twitter that he had been diagnosed with skin cancer following an issue with his leg. He would note that he was now waiting for a radiologist to study the problem to determine the next step of his treatment. Speaking on his Grilling JR podcast this week, Jim would provide fans with an update on the situation, revealing that he is set for a number of radiation treatments and said, "I'm pretty good. I have this little cancer issue I'm trying to deal with. I'm going to start doing radiation soon. I have to do 22 radiation treatments. Somehow I have to figure out how to do it on consecutive days. They would like to do it every day for I think 3 weeks or whatever it is, maybe longer than that. I haven't kept track. It's inevitable, it's coming, I have to deal with it. I haven't found myself buried in the minutiae of whether this is happening or that is happening." JR would then reveal that he is not planning on missing any AEW shows and said that things aren't as bad as they could be, and said, "I don't planning on missing any work according to my doctors, so that's good. It's just a matter of dealing with the issues, gritting your teeth and moving on. That's kind of what I'm doing. I didn't get the worst kind of skin cancer, whatever that is, I don't have. It's one of those deals." Jim added that he's glad he doesn't need chemotherapy and the after effects of it, and seems to be positive about his situation and recovery. And finally, we have some big news regarding All Elite Wrestling, as one of their top stars is set to enter an inpatient program for alcohol treatment following issues with addiction. AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament semi-finalist Jon Moxley will soon be going into rehab, as revealed by AEW President Tony Khan on Twitter, who would inform fans, "Jon Moxley has allowed me to share with you that he is entering an inpatient alcohol treatment program. Jon is a beloved member of the AEW family. We all stand with him and Renee and all of his family and friends as he shifts his focus to recovery." Tony would confirm that this means Moxley will be out of the ring during his treatment, which can be assumed by the first statement, and he added, "Jon is making a very brave choice to get help, and we're embracing his choice and supporting him however we can. I'm proud to call Jon a friend, and like many of you, I'm also a fan of Mox, and look forward to a time in the future when he is eventually ready to return to the ring. Until then, thank you for supporting Jon and respecting his privacy at this time." The former AEW World Champion was scheduled to take on Orange Cassidy tonight on AEW Dynamite in the World Title Eliminator semi-finals to decide who will face Bryan Danielson in the final at AEW Full Gear later this month, but this match will no longer be taking place. It's unknown if Cassidy will now receive a bye through to the final or if he will instead get a new opponent. According to the leaked Full Gear card last month, Bryan was indeed booked to face Moxley at the pay-per-view, which suggests that he would have won tonight, meaning the Bryan Mox match has been cancelled with Bryan facing somebody else. For now though, the most important part of this story is that Jon is getting the help that he needs, with booking plans coming second to the health of the wrestlers involved. Hopefully Mox can defeat his demons and come back better than ever, and I wish him and his family all the best through these trying times. And before you go, make sure you check out my video where I discussed the secret wrestling returns of CM Punk before he showed up in AEW.